Rock has returned to WWE at Bad Blood.
The final, damn, that's good.
Final Boss is just angry all the time. But what does the rest of the year and through to WrestleMania look like? WWE has Crown Jewel coming up, so the whole focus is going to be on this giant title belt that no one asked for. Like anything else could have been under the towel, really. So I don't think we get any Bloodline for the next couple of weeks. Now, I do know and have heard that Roman Reigns is scheduled to be on SmackDown through the month of October, or at least some of the dates. So I think that one of the things they're going to start doing is really ramping up this return of the Bloodline, the original Bloodline. Jay returned at Bad Blood to help out Roman Reigns. You gotta figure that WWE, Roman Reigns, they're gonna get that whole story down, locked down, get them reunited, and then somehow, some way, get Jey Uso back in there. I don't think we see the Final Boss for a long time now. Survivor Series is coming up sooner than you think. It's gonna be War Games. Right now, the way the landscape is for WWE, for Raw and SmackDown, it doesn't seem like any other storyline warrants a War Games match. Every year now, for the last couple of years, we've been getting men and women's War Games matches. I just don't see that happening, particularly on the women's side. It just doesn't make sense. So I wonder if WWE is going to pivot a little bit and give us one War Games match, Bloodline versus Bloodline. I think you could give us a huge moment at Survivor Series where over the next 8 weeks or so, Roman Reigns is kind of mending fences and trying to get everybody back on track with his family, realizing he can't do this alone. Roman and Jay hugging at Bad Blood kind of symbolizes that for me. Roman Reigns slowly seeing that he needs his family in order to be the tribal chief. And so once we get past Crown Jewel, I think they slowly start to figure out how they're going to integrate Jey Uso back into all of this. And maybe even Sami Zayn. This whole time I've really felt like Cody Rhodes is going to be in the War Games match, and that still could be the case, but it feels like he is going to go and have his program with Kevin Owens, and maybe that is a one-on-one Survivor Series match. But if Cody kind of pivots a little bit away from the Bloodline from War Games because he's dealing with Kevin Owens, then you can get 4-on-4 War Games. But where does the Final Boss fit in all of this? To me, he's got to come out at the end of War Games. It's The Rock. He's not going to be in a match. And I do think that new Bloodline, yes, the reunion of original Bloodline would be amazing. And it will be awesome to see them all together. I don't know if they get that victory though at War Games. New Bloodline has been getting beaten and dominated every single month. They just keep losing. You gotta think at some point they gotta give them a big win. The one thing I could see them doing to kind of connect all the dots here is once again at Survivor Series, you finish that match, or towards the end, The Rock comes out. Maybe he does come out when everybody is kind of destroyed and picks up the pieces and simply just boom, rock bottom to Roman Reigns. If Cody is in the match, maybe he takes him out too. But if it's just original Bloodline in there, and then you got Rock coming in and he's just wailing on everybody, he can hit his finishers and he can stand tall with Bloodline. But remember at Bad Blood, The Rock didn't acknowledge the Bloodline. We had shots of Solo and Jacob Fatu and them going out of the arena, but they didn't sell it like they knew what was going on. I think you need that moment of Survivor Series of The Rock and the new Bloodline standing tall at the very end. Maybe original Tribal Chief and the Bloodline win. Maybe they do win the match, but maybe then after in the post match is when it all kind of goes down. It's Bloodline, so it's all about the story. The match itself doesn't end up mattering all that much. It's the final moments. And so if you have The Rock come out, he could finally acknowledge that he is Final Boss and he's in charge of all of this, what's been going on for the last year since WrestleMania, and have that turn on Roman Reigns. And that's a big, interesting piece of all of this. The Rock hasn't acknowledged Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes relationship. The Rock and Roman lost at WrestleMania on night 2. Like, as a story, they lost. The villains lost. But there was no indication that Roman turned on Rock, Rock turned on Roman. They never did any of that. Roman, since coming back, has not acknowledged like he's against The Rock. So on TV, their relationship is still intact. So they still need to explain motivation for Rock turning on Roman if it happens, and Roman being surprised that The Rock has turned on him. Because if Roman is staying in the same character like he has said and nothing's really changed for him, then really his character should still be aligned with the final boss and thinking that they are still together. So The Rock's turn on Roman needs to be big. But then we could fast forward to the Royal Rumble. This is where it gets very interesting now, because is Cody going to be involved in WrestleMania with the Bloodline? Like, is it going to be Cody versus Rock? Because that match seems like it needs to happen. And there's a possibility that they want to do that this year, and they want to do Rock Roman next year at WrestleMania 42. Couple of options when it comes to the Royal Rumble for me. One, you have Roman Reigns enter the Royal Rumble and win. Roman has not been in the Royal Rumble for many years now, and they could try to tease it so that it's going to be Roman going after Cody one more time. That whole cinematic thing they did tease that. Roman is still trying to get back what's his, which is the title. So you could have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble. Would he go after Cody though and do it all over again for the third year in a row? Don't think you want to do that so much, but you could make it a triple threat, Rock, Roman, Cody. But then for me, Cody seems a little out of place in all of that. But what about for you? But if Rock and Roman is the ultimate plan for WrestleMania 41, like night 2 of WrestleMania, you know what? Put Roman in at number 30 so that everybody just feels like, okay, this is totally lined up for Roman to win the Royal Rumble. He gets the big eliminations, and then it could be down to him and 2 other people. And then you get number 31 and enter The Rock. This would be a massive surprise. The Rock really wouldn't have to do much because he could just literally toss guys over the top rope. You get the stare down moment between Rock and Roman, and you can have The Rock eliminate Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble. Final boss wins, final boss goes to main event WrestleMania. What do you do with Cody? Hopefully something not Bloodline related. Hopefully it's like Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, maybe a triple threat for the title. Randy Orton is that big story that I am hoping to see, and hopefully at WrestleMania. But then wait a minute, if Rock wins the Royal Rumble, isn't he going after Cody Rhodes?
Yes, it's perfect.
They could do that. Night 2 of WrestleMania could be Rock versus Cody for the belt. WWE Champion versus the People's Champion. And you could have the moment of The Rock winning the belt and setting up the next chapter of Final Boss and Bloodline story going into next year. And then would Roman go and fight Solo? Doesn't feel big enough for WrestleMania. I just don't think like they have gotten there, and maybe they could get there by WrestleMania season to get Solo to that level to take on Roman Reigns where it doesn't feel lopsided. Still feels like they need to have that match though of Roman Solo one-on-one for the Ula Fala. That feels big. That feels like maybe Saturday night's main event. I think when it comes to the final boss and The Rock, we get more appearances as we lead up to WrestleMania. I think they could lean in harder into The Rock being this TKO board of directors boss where he can just do whatever he wants. Maybe even tease a little bit more of the dynamic between him and Triple H, because that was really interesting when they did that last year at Vegas, but they never followed up with it. I also think that this year's WrestleMania, they have kind of a clean slate. It's not as convoluted as last year from all accounts, reports, interviews of how messy it was with The Rock coming in, Cody's Rumble win, his shot at WrestleMania, and how they had to pivot everything. What's intriguing is how many pieces they have in place between Cody, Rock, Roman, and the combinations they could pull off. Now you do have Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania, but I don't see that having any Bloodline involved. I really think the big chapters and moments are gonna be Survivor Series, the Rumble, and then what's gonna happen to the lead up to WrestleMania where we see The Rock, the final boss, showing up on SmackDown like every other week. And between that time, I think you get more of those promos like we saw with The Rock at Bad Blood. Comes out, he can cut a promo, and they can continue the thing on digital, online, on social media. And that's continuing the story as we go through to WrestleMania 41. Does The Rock need the title though? That's what I wanna know from you. Does The Rock need the WWE Championship?
The glasses come on, the People's Champ title.
To tell the story between him and Roman Reigns. Rock and Roman will happen. The question I have is it this year or next year? Does Roman Reigns go and fight Solo like we talked about? Or maybe Jacob Fatu one-on-one at WrestleMania? And at that point, has Solo been basically kicked out of the bloodline and lost everything because he couldn't get it done for the final boss? And maybe throughout all of this, maybe Jacob Fatu becomes The Rock's number 2 guy. So then the next year after WrestleMania could be Solo's redemption arc of him trying to get back with his original family. And if it is going to be Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania 41, that is the path. And it's straight up one-on-one for head of the table, the Ulafala, who is the tribal chief. My early prediction here is, I gotta say, I think Final Boss needs to win, because then you can have the final match at WrestleMania 42 and Roman Reigns beats the Final Boss. And with Crown Jewel coming up in a few weeks, like I said, I don't believe that we're gonna get any Bloodline involvement. It seems very much just about the big Crown Jewel title. And if you guys want to talk about that and everything that's gonna go down at Crown Jewel, click this video right here, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day. See ya.